Greetings, conscious entrepreneurs. Welcome to our IG Live. This is a special show honoring our Black Muslim Business Directory Entrepreneur of the Week. And the Mind of an Entrepreneur show is always excited to feature key entrepreneurs in our community that we believe are conscious and that are introducing much needed goods and services into our community. So greetings to everyone. Assalamu alaikum. I see our brother is already here, so I'm going to bring him in because we only got 45 minutes and I know with the two of us we can talk. So hang on, Brother Nuri. Brother Nuri, if you can just request to join. I see you already joined, but just request to join me on the live. And as soon as you make that request, then I can bring you in. So thank you to everyone who's also supporting our promotional week for the Elijah coins, the commemorative coins. Thank you all so much for that. So many of you have reposted. I got a list here, but I know it's not everybody. Brother Nuri, Brother Abdul Malik, Brother Abdul Qiyam, Sister Anura. I mean, did y'all see her video? I had to repost hers. It was amazing. Sister Ebony Sophia, Sister Lisa, Sister Sajdah. So thank you all. Brother Nuri, I saw you jump on. Can you all give me like a thumbs up if you can hear me okay? I'm doing this from my office today, and I generally don't do it here because there's so much IT security here at the micro hospital that is sometimes difficult. Oh, there's Brother Nuri. All right, so our brother is joining us. I'm so excited for this conversation. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam, Sister Sajdah.
Why you look like you in the tropics somewhere?
Oh, it's called fake Florida. We got fake Florida. We still in Nap Town, but we got a fake Florida set up.
Fake Florida set up. Okay, that's all right. That's okay. We got to do what we got to do sometimes, right?
Yes, ma'am.
How you doing? You looking good.
All fine by Allah's grace and striving to be a reflection of you.
Listen, all praises due to Allah. Hey, we chose you. I chose you as our Entrepreneur of the Week for the Mind of an Entrepreneur Black Muslim Business Directory. And you know, Brother Nuri, the idea behind that is for us to create this ecosystem and start to really support one another. So if there's anything you need, if there's coaching sessions, if you say, hey, I want to do a merger or an acquisition, or I want to sell, we want to be, of service so that as we're starting to do for self, we go forward with that new, that new mindset.
Well, that is such a great blessing. And that is the, of course, as you know, by Allah blessing you to have such a mathematical mind from your very initiation into Islam. Allah gave you that.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah, Allah gave you that mathematical mind, and you just needed the theology. And the mathematical theology is what Allah tells us in the lessons is the formula for being successful. So you know from, as you have moved and maneuvered and navigated through economics, that white people, they look out for one another. They network. They share each other's ideas, vision, business, and they help each other. And because of their system of networking, which the lessons calls friendships.
Come on.
In all walks of life. That's just the Savior's way of describing what networking is. I'm so thankful that you have decided to make part of your philanthropic work, not just donation of money, but creating of platforms like this where we can begin to connect with the friendships.
Yeah, and I was listening to, I think, the 1967 Savior's Day, where the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad said that civilized people can have friendships in all walks of life.
That's right.
And I thought that was a beautiful study. I started really going deeper into that. And then what does that civilization do for us? And he also said that civilized people can compete against other civilized people.
That's right. That's right.
So
Yes,
we
ma'am.
wonder sometimes, Brother Nuri, we see some of us that have millions, even billions of dollars, but we can't compete. It's because we're missing that civilization.
That's right. And we have it. We've been blessed to receive. And if we break down, that problem number 13, that is the only one that is given its own page out of the 34 problems, is pulled out and given its own page and mentioned among the other 34. And it talks about us using our mathematical theology to secure some benefits for ourselves while we are alive. And then Master Father Muhammad, he breaks it down.
Yeah.
He says luxury, money, good homes, and friendships in all walks of life. And in some of the other problems, he describes heaven as peace and contentment of mind, having good harmony among the brotherhood and sisterhood. And when you mix all of that up, what Allah is telling us is that heaven on earth is peace and contentment of mind, having good relations with your brothers and your sisters, and having luxury, money, good homes, and friendships in all walks of life. Mix all that up together, that's heaven on earth.
That's exactly right. That's the that's the basis for our civilization is really what it is. That's and right. The work that you're doing, I want to thank you for, we have our history, it's mosque number 74, and that's where I came in under Brother Yusuf, and so did you. And right. I often think about, especially after his janazah, the struggle to keep the doors open. And then I thought about you. And I said, and Brother Nuri is still working to keep the doors open. So one of my ways of giving back to you and to 74 is to say, let me highlight some of the things that you're doing. And so when I was there, we were right in the middle of the pandemic, so I didn't get to go to the Eat to Live Cafe. Right. But one of the other marks of civilized people is that we understand the science behind what we put in our body and how we take care of ourselves. We understand, because it tells us again in our lessons, what our heart rate needs to be, right?
Come on.
How far we need to walk. All those issues about vascular health are right there in the problem book.
That's
heart
right.
rate, how much air we're breathing. A lot of that starts with food. Of course, there's the other elements, but the food is very important. I was talking to somebody the other day, and I said, what's sad is that civilized people, when they look at healthcare and they find out they have a situation of dis-ease, they say, what do I need to do holistically to correct that dis-ease?
That's right.
And they don't limit themselves to what the insurance company says they're going to pay for.
Right.
But when we don't have that level of civilization and we don't take responsibility for our health, we go, oh, okay, I'm sick. So what does the insurance company say? Not even what the doctor says. The doctor could say you need to do X, Y, Z. But if the insurance company don't pay for Z, we just do X and Y.
Go ahead. That's right.
So that Eat to Live portion, that you're doing is important, because whether we're going to a cafe or a fine dining restaurant, we have to be mindful about what we put into our body. It's not enough just to say I fast.
Right.
Because or that you do intermittent fasting, or what we call one meal a day, because when you do eat, it can't be potato chips. It can't be junk. And if you're on the go, I think, what you're doing. So I want to hear about it, since I didn't get to experience it. So tell me about it just verbally then.
Well, of course, as you're saying so beautifully, and the minister, he made a statement in one of his Time and What Must Be Done lectures dealing with health and diet. And he said this, he said, you are what you eat, and even more what you think. And then in How to Eat to Live, the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad says in the 2nd chapter of the book 1, he said, remember, you have 2 digestive systems, one in your brain and one in your stomach. And he said, the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, that the 2 work together with one another. Whichever harms one harms the other. So you can't think right thoughts and eat wrong food and you can't eat right food and think wrong thoughts. There has to be a synergism and a harmony and an agreement for what you put in your mind and what you put in your mouth. Mm-hmm. So the mosque really is the place where it is taught how to think to live.
Mm-hmm. The spiritual food, right?
Yeah, and we said, you know what? Let's market. You know, every other nationality on the planet markets their cuisine. Mm-hmm. You have when you go to an Indian restaurant, you expect from some tandoori, some saag paneer, some bangan bharta. You want some papat and some roti. You're not going there to get a grilled cheese sandwich. Mm-mm. You know, and then when you go to an Italian restaurant, you're not expecting at an Italian restaurant to get anything other than Italian food. Chinese restaurant, Japanese, Korean. Mm-hmm. So what is the Muslim cuisine? What is the cuisine of the Nation of Islam? Mm-hmm. And it is a specific way of cooking certain foods mm-hmm. that are the healthiest foods for the human body, as taught by the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Mm-hmm. And it hurts us because we're right next door to the White Casket. I know.
I know.
They call it the White Castle. We call it the White Casket because it's killing people every day.
Yeah.
And we're a block and a half away from getting popped in the eye by the chicken people. And across the street from there is McDevil's, and then right next door to them is Long John Killers. And when we find out the kind of numbers that they're doing, selling bad food, it almost becomes, you feel like that you won't be able to be successful. So that's how it started. We said we're going to prove that not only can we market what Allah gave the Honorable Elijah Muhammad in How to Eat to Live, which is the age reversing, disease preventing, life and life more abundantly diet for the original people. We're going to prove that you can do it and you can make it taste well, be cost effective, and generate revenue.
Yeah, and you're sharing our culture with the world. Right. That's our culture, right? So we have to begin to kind of modernize and improve and spread and share our culture. And that's what I'm all about. When you come to visit, for example, Sajdah House, or if you go to dinner with the minister, you're experiencing Muslim culture. Right. And so I think it's important that people understand how we do things. And we are a viable group of people that are investment worthy.
Right. And you know, when we first opened up the building, of course, the mosque is really a former strip mall that we gutted and redone. And thanks to your help and the help of a lot of other loving believers, you gave large money to help us. And as of last July, we paid off the mosque, and it's it's over $1 million facility by Allah's grace.
That's what I'm talking about.
We wanted to create an environment that outside of the meeting schedule, you could interact with each other as a people and interact with believers and learn the culture of Islam, because the culture is what really helps the consciousness. The training is what makes the teaching work better. It's the way with the word that ultimately allows one to have transformation from the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. So that it started off, Sister Sajdah, we started off with someone renting it out, believers, and they were struggling and really didn't feel like that they could be profitable without deviating from our culture. They thought they'd have to sell junk food to be successful. So we said, well, we'll buy it from you. We bought it, and we put together 4 think tanks. And I'm advising anyone that wants to get into business, think about this I guess you can call it a blueprint we use. We brought together marketing, business management, menu development, and design and decoration.
Okay.
And we had 4 different groups, and we brought everybody together separate from one another. Some of our sets was 40 people strong. And we pulled from people that were in the restaurant business or had done some form of business. And we took all their ideas, typed them all up, and then started generating some money to get it done. And we've been executing them. And we've got good team over there, Sister Sajdah, Sister Tammy.
It's so smart.
And the team over there is doing so well. And we've been able to provide jobs for not only the older believers, but the young.
Yes.
And they literally are operating in there, keeping everything to the letter of the recipe. And some of them started off as teenagers, 1, 2. I say 3 or 4 of them have already stepped out and they're doing their own businesses right now.
That's what I'm talking about.
It's been a great, and we've been open. We've survived. We've been open now for 13 years.
Okay.
And so far, we haven't missed no payroll. Everybody's gotten paid.
That's right. That's what I always judge myself by. Am I missing any payroll? Oh, I'm good. You know,
in the beginning, it was rough. But I used to come off the road and teaching and whatever, selling whatever publications I had. And we were struggling in the very beginning for the first 3-4 months. And I just would put money in the oven. I just come home and just put money in the oven to help them to make the payroll.
Yes.
And ever since we've, it's probably been over 10 years, 11 years now. I haven't put any money in out of my pocket again. And it's been doing pretty good.
You ready for the new challenge, right? What kind of buildings are around there that we can look at expanding this and make it a multi-million-dollar complex from 74? We're not going to stop till it's a $74 million complex.
Come on, right? Now, come on. And that is definitely, we really would like to buy up the block. The residential is the next thing. And really, some can be renovated. Most of them need to be torn down. And we like to build a block. We got a few other things. There's a new business we have in the facility now. It's called Simply Bean, and it's a two believers that we leased the space to from where the salon used to be.
Okay.
They have a national distribution of 100% navy bean products, links and patties.
I ordered from them. I didn't know they were right there, but
they're right in the building, and
repurposing that navy bean and repackaging it.
They're doing really good. They're doing really good. So we have. We got two. We're trying to figure out how to create a franchise for other people. We've probably gotten 20 requests for franchise after people come and eat. Anybody that has money in their pocket and eats at the cafe wants to know, how can I open up a franchise where I live?
That's the next move. That was going to be my next question for you in terms of, because I see you put the think tank together. You know, that's how they do it. I'm a partner with a Massage Envy, and they bring in the think tank and they put the systems together. And, you know, I got in it just so that I could kind of learn that model. And you just take that model and you move it from place to place. So, you know, I think the next thing for you is to figure out what's next, either franchising or buying up the block.
Yeah, and maybe do both. We try to do both. But the franchise will be a little faster. I talked to an attorney about it. We want to come out of this and really get back open. Right now, we're doing all curbside pickup. We haven't let anybody sit inside and eat because the front area is kind of small. Okay. It only can hold about 25 people at one time, and that's without any social distancing. So the workers, they feel more comfortable curbside. And as soon as we get finished, and we're thinking about figuring out how to convert. We have a signature fish sausage sandwich. This was a brainchild out of my mind, actually, when we first started doing it. And it's the best seller. And we're trying to figure out if we can mass produce, package, freeze it, and have it in all the stores around the country.
That's
So
awesome.
that,
My
yeah,
mom is on here. She just said whiting fish salad.
yeah.
She loves that whiting fish salad.
We got it, and it's of course we do do a little something different. We put a little grilled vegetables on it. I
Hmm.
don't know how to cook nothing. This is I had
You
an
just come up with
idea.
the taste.
Yeah, I'm a good taster,
Yeah.
but the team in there, Sister Tammy and the rest of the sisters, they do a magnificent job. We haven't our advertisement has all been word of mouth. We paid for a little social media
Okay.
not too long ago that I did just to see how it would work. But the majority of our advertisement has been word of mouth, and we're pleased with it. And we originally too we're thinking about in another form of expansion if we can get something close, do a fine dining version
Yeah.
of How to Eat to Live Cafe, where we have waitresses and waiters and more of I don't want to say a black tie environment, but more of a sit
Why not?
down. Yeah, something that's a little more dressy.
Do you guys do ready-made meals where a person can just pop in and grab a full meal to go, or is it
We
more
haven't been
fast?
doing the full meals, but we have I guess you call it a hot and a cold
Uh-huh.
case in the front that
Okay.
takes up pretty much half the front. And those items on one side you got warm stuff, and the other side you have cold. But what they do is we're not open on Sundays and Mondays. They do a lot of meal prep where they get everything already positioned for the week. So when you show up on those first 2 or 3 days, they already are able to get everything cooked. And we're not doing any fried foods. We do all baked, pan seared, charbroiled, blackened, or grilled of everything we do. So that takes a little bit longer, and it's a little more challenging to have it cold for people. So people like to know that fish is going to be warm on top of it, and it's going to melt. It's going to melt the cheese, and the onions is going to be sautéed
Come
and
on
hot.
now.
So they kind of it's that kind of setup right now.
Brother Nuri, I talk to entrepreneurs and consumers when I'm working to educate people when they do business with us. What has happened is that this way of life that we have has been marketed and packaged in different ways, right? And so it's expensive to follow the teachings, to eat to live, and it takes time. So if you're in that microwave mindset, you got to understand that when you come over to eat to live, it's going to take a little time because we're really cooking you real food. We're not just adding water and putting it in the microwave. It's real food that's going to nourish your body. And somebody asked me the other day, they said, well, I hate the term poor believers. And I realized back in the day we were poor believers. But right now, to be a follower of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad under the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, you got to do for self.
That's right.
You got to have a different mindset because by the time you eat to live, you can't pull up at McDevil's and eat off the dollar menu.
No, that's right. That's
You
right.
gotta go eat. You gotta go over to Eat to Live Cafe or order some kosher food and make that up at your house.
Cook it. That's right. And
That's
what
right.
I sent a message. My daughters, we have my son and my daughter. They are in business. We have a trucking business.
Okay,
Together.
I didn't know that.
So right now they are really serious. They have 7 dump trucks and 2 semis.
Come on,
and
now.
I have 1 dump truck, 1 semi, 1 box truck.
Okay.
But it's so many challenges that you run across in the business, and we do some other investing outside of that. And we were having our investment conversation this morning and running into some snags, and we got clobbered a few times recently. We lost a lot of money, but today we had a good day. And I told them, I sent them a text, Sister Sajdah. I said this. I said, being rich is hard. Being poor is hard. Choose your heart.
That's right. That's right.
Choose which one you want to do.
That's right.
And in this life, I remember when I first came into the teachings and I learned about How to Eat to Live. And of course, How to Eat to Live is pretty much, in a nutshell, eating one meal a day of the best foods and fasting 3 days out of the month. That's the basic fundamental level of How to Eat to Live. Mm-hmm. And so I went to, you remember the store here called Good Earth?
Yeah.
I went to the health food store grocery shopping. Mm-hmm. All I had was, the little basket.
Yes.
I had
the little hand basket.
And see, from the hood, we always went to Aldi's.
Yeah.
Aldi's then upgraded since then, but back then, Aldi's had everything in the boxes. You couldn't get, so you could fill your cart up at Aldi's with, 9 packages of fake burritos and, 100 cookies for 79 cents. You come out of there with a whole cart full for $35. Mm-hmm. I went to the little Good Earth with the getting organic stuff, had the little basket. Mm-hmm. I didn't even fill the whole basket up. I put it on the counter. And when the lady got finished ringing it up, she said, that'll be 96 such and such. I said, oh, no. I said, oh, no, I don't want it. I don't want it. I'm sorry. I didn't know that. I don't want any of that. Mm-hmm. Look what she said to me. She said, aren't you worth it? Aren't you worth it?
She spoke to your soul, didn't she?
I said, oh, man. And here I am talking about I'm the original man, the Asiatic black man maker, the owner, cream and pie. God, aren't you worth it? Mm. I told her, you know what? I'm worth about half of it. Give me $50. But that's the kind of spirit, that kind of question has to be asked to by our people to themselves. Mm-hmm. When it comes time to pick whether you're going to do flaming hot Cheetos and a mystery meat sandwich in between a bread-like product, and you're going to eat some good tasting plastic that's going to kill you and make your brain weak, or do you want to spend a few more dollars? And I had an argument the other day, believe it or not, at the health food store. The brother said, man, brother, what are you doing? You look the same as you looked 30 years ago. What are you doing? Mm-hmm. And I start telling him about how to eat to live. And he said, oh, no, I ain't doing all that.
Yep.
I said, well, you asked, and I'm not practicing it 100% or to the highest expression, but that is what I attribute to being able to be youthful for so long. And
I get that too, Brother Nuri, where people DM me and say, what's up with your skin and how you do that? And I'm like, I ain't got nothing on here. But I say it's the teachings and it's the spirit of revelation that comes from the word. Yeah.
And he told me that he's not going to do all that. I said, okay. I said, let me ask you something, bro. I said, if the first car you ever bought, you knew that would be the only vehicle you would ever have the rest of your life, how would you treat it? He said, oh, man, it wouldn't have been no rust on it. I would have been washing every day, putting the best fuel in it. I mean, I would have changed the oil and shoot every 2,000 miles, not 3,000. I mean, it would have been, if that's the only one I ever get, and I know I wouldn't get another one, that's how I would treat it. I said, well, brother, you're living in the only vehicle you're ever going to get. Mm-hmm. Then this is different, because a car can get you from the east side to the west side, or maybe even to another state. But your body is the vehicle that the spirit, the soul, the mind of you is using to get to your destination, your goals, and your aspirations in life. I said, wouldn't it make more sense to treat your vehicle better than you would that car? Right. I said, what kind of octane fuels you said you was going to put in that? I said, well, that's all you're saying. You said, so you got to put premium octane fuel in the human body, and that's the best of foods.
That's exactly right. I had a conversation with Allah maybe about 2010, and I said, Allah, make me your conduit. Mm. And so as I walked away from that conversation, from that prayer, I said, so there's some things you're going to have to tweak and step up in your body, because you can't claim to be so spiritual that you asking to be a conduit, but then you won't step your game up. And as Brother Nuri saying, we're not saying that we're 100% perfect. We're striving. but you got to make an effort.
And look, you said the same thing that Jesus said. He said, prepare for me a body that I might go down. In other words, I'm getting ready to go down in the trenches to do a hard work among my people that are low. And I need to have a certain body in order for me to be able to perform that function. So there's never been a letter that the minister has written to anyone that opened up different than this. May this letter, email, or correspondence find you in the best of health
and spirit.
Those two things work together. And whenever the synergism of good health and good spirit is coexisting in one organism, it turns you into an unstoppable person. So you doing, I mean, that is the spirit, and that's the body. You have to have, your health has to be in place. Otherwise, we won't even be able to achieve the goal. What if it takes 60 years just for you to be able to reach what Allah wanted you to do?
Right.
And you didn't realize it until you was 50. You might need to be 110 just to become the full expression of what he wants you to be.
That's right. And when you start trying to tune in and do this and listen and make Allah your consultant, he's like this. Once he see he can use you, Brother Nuri, he's like, oh, okay. I'm going to keep you up all night some nights. Yeah. I'm going to be on you like this. And you got to be healthy in order, to manage that. And so I think that's why what you're doing is so important. That's the basics of what people definitely have to understand. We got to change our diets. We got to move into another way of living so that we can think on a higher frequency.
Yeah. And we have, like Sister Sajdah, we have so many brothers and sisters that come and they sacrifice for whole summers, whole springs, or whole winters. And they eat at the cafe every day. And we have several brothers that have lost over 100 pounds.
Beautiful.
Several brothers that have lost, several sisters 40, 50 pounds. And it comes, and of course they still, because black people, we'll order a salad, but we really have a salad dressing meal with a little lettuce underneath it. Yeah. So they still, they still want, a half a gallon of ranch on top of the vegetables. But at the end of the day, even not even doing it to the fullest, they've been able to benefit from it in a way that they have been able to keep their weight down, blood pressure, put diabetes in check. So many things has been a benefit for them. And I would hope that the brothers and sisters remember this. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said in the economic blueprint, he said, where there are 6 or 8 of you with the same mind or like minds or the same goal, sit down and pool your resources. And he described resources in so many words as time, talent, and treasure. Yes. You have to be willing to give some of your time, some of your money, and you have to give some of your talent to the business. And if you can find 6 or 8 people that want to start a dry cleaners like you do, you all sit down and start planning, start thinking, come up with the marketing, come up with the design, come up with what it takes in seed capital. Do your research on the most successful ones. Go interview them, ask them.
Right.
I paid people in the restaurant business and I paid people in the daycare business to actually, I told them, look, I just want to answer these questions, and I paid them. And I sat down with them at their facilities and asked questions. And it helped to, I guess, shorten the learning curve. Yes. When you're jumping into something, and it helps you with your spirit of confidence when you're making uncertain steps in a new area. But y'all come together. Come together. Don't sit around and wait till you get it all worked out yourself.
That's what the directory is about. So people can come together, and we're going to do some actual meetups where we say, okay, sister so-and-so meet sister so-and-so. We think you got some synergies there, and help them put some things together. But we all got to be about our business of self-improvement.
That'll be so great. And business, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said, business is the activity of life.
He
So
did.
so the activity of life is not sport and play. The activity of life is not television watching. The activity of life is business. And there's a certain sense of accomplishment that you'll get when you engage in economic enterprise that,
Yes.
look at this, it won't just put money in your pocket, it will water your soul.
That I bear witness to that watering of the soul. And I'll tell you something on that. I was studying, I think I was talking to Imam Sultan about this, about the spread of Islam being done through business and commerce.
Right.
And even when I was in Africa, going to different points, and somebody said, this is where Queen Amina set up her trading post and how she spread the culture of Islam. And people would travel all the way from Europe to come and do business with her because she was fair, because of the culture that she exuded when she did business with them. So that was what watered them. And
Right.
and even with Sajdah House, when we think about, somebody asked me, well, why all these people come to see the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad? I said, well, aside from him being the Lamb of God, what else do you think that they talked about? Economic development,
Right.
business, commerce, because it's the way in which people can experience your culture. And that's what you all are doing at the Eat to Live Cafe. So Brother Nuri, I just want you to know that I'm a resource for you. I think you know that.
Yes, ma'am.
And if you need to get me on the phone. I spent so many years, Allah bless me, and I spent so many years as a consultant in and out of so many different companies that I developed a muscle. That, and I can't, I say I of myself am nothing because I didn't do that on purpose. I mean, I went into auditing and consulting when I first got my first job, when I was there in Indianapolis.
Man.
And got to Chicago, working at the National Center, working for the minister, but doing a lot of different things, but then went right back into consulting. And then I would look up and people would ask me, how'd you get that project? I'd be in Africa, or I'm in Phoenix, or I'm in Boston. But I realize now that Allah did that for a reason. And,
Right.
and I literally used to complain and cry, like, I just want to sit down and settle down, give me a husband and some children. I'm not trying to do all this passport, but he just kept, and then every time I'd say that, it'd be another project that was even bigger. Or, okay, time to go to South Africa. But what it did was that I developed a muscle to understand cultures, to be able to read businesses and develop them. And so if you ever need to tap into that for any of your businesses, you know I'm here for you.
Wow.
You know, we owe each other that. And, I have to compliment you, because whenever I've seen you, even socially in Indianapolis, when I come to visit family, it's been like at the gym.
Yeah, yes,
right? We either see each other at the health food store or at the gym.
Right.
So it says where we're focused on, right?
Yes, ma'am. And I really thank you so much. And again, biggest, your platform that you have offered to help us to network with each other and be able to pull our resources for our own independence. It's our people are not going to be completely convinced to come over this way without being able to see the practical application of the teachings in real form, in
Yes.
reality. And
Yes.
that has something to do with the way we live, what we drive, what we own, what we possess. They want to see some assets and some liabilities that have pleasing to the eye that ain't killing nobody. And if we can do that for them, I think that you'll be able to. You should know right now that you are Allah's answering your prayer and you're working it out.
Praise be
You
to
are
Allah.
being a great conduit of Allah and His will to prove that you can be honorable,
Yes.
you can be righteous, and you still can generate wealth without losing not 1 ounce of the spirit of God.
Yes.
Most people that chase money end up running from God.
Yeah, you can't chase the money. And I bear witness to that because I've traveled all around the world as Wendy Muhammad.
Right.
And just really work to make sure that that's what I represented. Because I never wanted anybody to email back to the minister and say, this sister was over here and this happened, or have a videotape and I'm out of pocket. So,
Right.
so I just developed my life that way, and still being able to have fun, have friends, enjoy myself, and be an example. And so I pride myself on that. So if there's anything,
Yes,
you know,
ma'am.
you know I'm here for you. I owe Moss number 74. I'm grateful to you for maintaining that legacy, and I congratulate you on everything that you're doing. I'm trying to follow in your footsteps and get on the Breakfast Club and all this stuff. I'm when I grow up, I'm gonna be like you, brother.
No, all that happened accidentally on purpose. But I didn't plan it, but Allah did. So
Yes.
this is such a great discussion, and I hope that all of those in the viewing audience would really understand this, that you, when Jesus said, pick up your cross and follow me, see,
Yes.
a cross is a long vertical line and a shorter horizontal.
Mm-hmm.
The honorable minister said this, that everything that's material is on the horizontal, but all the spiritual is on the vertical.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're going to pick up your cross, you have to pick up the material, but you have to make sure your spiritual is longer
Right.
than your material. And what Sister Sajdah has been able to do is she's been constantly nurturing her virtue more than she has been doing her business.
Mm-hmm.
And by keeping her morals greater than her money,
Yes.
by keeping her righteousness better than her riches, by keeping her wisdom longer than her wealth, and by staying focused on Allah and not the dollar.
Mm-hmm. I love that. That's
she's
true.
been able to have both, and all of us can too. So
Yes.
I thank you for offering that, and we gonna tap in and use it. I got 7 questions on my mind. I'm gonna call you about.
No, you can do that, and
yes,
I owe you a tour of Sajdah House when you're back in Chicago.
Yes, ma'am. I can't wait.
Okay. Good luck to the cafe. May Allah bless you all. Continue to bless you, and let's get ready to build that $74 million empire down.
That's
there.
right.
I'm serious, Brother Nuri.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right.
Yes,
Praise
ma'am.
be to Allah. Thank you, everyone, for listening to us today. We're going to post the replay so you can check us out later.
Thank you
Assalamu alaikum,
much.
sir. Thank you.
Wa alaikum salam. Thank you.
Give the family the greetings, please.
Please, you do the same.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.